Hey guys, Itinerant here, and upon recollection, I should have used obsidian. This is definitely taking a lot longer than I originally anticipated. This is kind of my plan. Do a cross and path going off in each direction. Uh, Other than that, once I start building, I'll be back then. So now that that's all done, I decided that iron looks kind of better for the base, and the tower itself has a darker color than the base. So I figured iron and then gold for the rest. As far as the floors, I'm not exactly sure what color I want to use. Um, Probably just half steps, because they take up the least amount of space, and since I'm scaling it down so much, I kind of want them to take up a very little amount of space, only because I forgot to think about this, but if you scale it down 5 times, then that means a 6-foot tall door that a person would fit through on a normal sized wall would become like one point something feet. So it's like 1 feet is a third, or 1 foot is a third of this block. So that's even less than that, and you're supposed to be able to walk through it if it's scaled properly, which isn't going to happen. So obviously I didn't think of that. The base is pretty proportionate as far as size. There's not really much else I can do, so I'm going to work on building the frame a little bit. I'm going to experiment and see what looks good and try and keep it as proportionate as possible. So anyway, when I find something that looks good, I'm going to start back up the video, so I'll be right back. Alright, so on the real Eiffel Tower, from the beginning of the tower to the first kind of plateau kind of thing is 57 meters, which I'm rounding up to 50 since I rounded up the overall height as well. So I divided that by 5, got 12. So this is 12 meters from here, and what my plan is basically is to build the framework and then connect the pieces, which kind of to keep it a little bit even and orderly and such like that. So anyway, what I'm probably going to do is just use the gold as the frame, and for the floors I'm going to use half blocks. So kind of like this. So and there is no connector from the center up, so I'm gonna have to put stairs inside the bases, which this is what I meant when I said base. These are what I mean by base, which they're more like feet than base. But anyway, I'm gonna fill this in, and I'll be right back when I'm done that. So now the first level's done. Now I'm gonna begin to try and connect them, and I guess it's could be a little bit challenging, but we'll see how it works out. I'm gonna try and keep it as, what's the word, something as possible. Nah. It is a pretty big base, so we shall see what it ends up looking like. This isn't exactly as easy as I thought it was going to be. It's kind of hard to make a curvy slant kind of thing. it's like, I'm not exactly sure what I was gonna do or what I'm planning on doing. It's kind of weird the way the shape is, but I basically tried to get this as proportionate as possible. I might end up scaling it up again. The second floor is twice as high as the first floor, so that only takes it up to about here, and then I only have to here to go to the top, so that's not a whole lot of room. Yeah, that's not a lot of room. It's gonna be quite distorted probably towards the top, but there's not really much I can do about that now that I've already started. I think it kind of looks better filled in, to be honest. I'll do that real quick. I tried both, and I think it just looks better when it's filled in, even though in the real Eiffel Tower it's kind of a not filled in. It kind of just, I don't know, it seems to fit a little better like this. Obviously I'm gonna have to add a little bit in here, add a kind of a frame around it so I can have stairs going up inside of it. And other than that, once I figure out something that looks good, I'm gonna duplicate it on all the sides so it looks the same. And anyway, I'm gonna be back once I figure all this shit out. So now I basically have an idea of what I'm doing. Kind of want to make sure they're all looking pretty similar. Well, not similar, identical. I want all the sides to be, well, not really, well, yeah, symmetrical is the word. But I'm probably gonna put stairs in all of them, only because they're all equal as far as size and everything, so if they can fit in one of them, they can obviously fit in all of them. So now as far as the top floor, I might kinda change it up a little bit, only because there's not as much room once I get up to the higher floors, only because since I scaled this down 5 times, the amount of space that I technically have is extremely limited, meaning that one block is a meter cubed, and a meter cubed times 5 is, I can't even remember. It's like I'm thinking right now, but I'm kinda too tired to do math. Yeah, meter cubed times 5 is 5 meters cubed. There's my awesome math for you. And that's 15 feet. So basically 1 square represents 15 feet by 15 feet, which is quite a lot for 1 square. So therefore, I mean, if I could cut into the little squares, maybe I could put some graphical detail into it, but since I can't, I'm just gonna have to stick with the basic scaffolding. I mean, that's the whole thing about Minecraft, the whole creativity aspect. That's the whole point of it, is you gotta make do with what you got. And I mean, if you had bigger or smaller squares, you might as well just be doing it with Photoshop. Like, it's kind of an interesting form of art in a way, because it's like, of course it's not going to look as good, but it's kind of like a challenge to make something out of squares. It's basically like first person Photoshop or Paint or something. Like, you just put every pixel there, and that's all each block is. Each block is just 1 pixel, and you look at an image, not even a 3-dimensional thing, in that image alone, the average one will be like, what, 500 by 500 if you Google an image? And I mean, 500 blocks of this is quite a bit of work if you think about it, so not to mention that you can't even go 500 blocks into the sky. The most you can do like 100 and I think it's like 128. So you really can't even do full quality art because that would be kind of cheap and easy. Well, not easy, time consuming, but it would really replace creativity with effort, which I always think creativity you're born with, but anyone can spend hours and hours and hours on something. But well, yeah, pretty much. Obviously, I'm just rambling on about nothing. I'm having trouble sleeping. It's getting pretty late. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna hit the bed, and next time I'm talking, it'll probably be tomorrow. So anyway, peace out for tonight, and see you tomorrow.